Do I see some questions in the audience?
So thanks for this last presentation on the swarm translation idea. I liked it very much. I have a question, which is, it seems that your proposal relies on people wanting to translate something or enjoying translating a certain piece of content. What about if you are someone who urgently needs a translation that nobody finds fun or enjoys translating? So how do you make sure with this model that demand and sort of translation service offers meet each other?
Thanks for your question. Okay, it's behind is a community, and the community is deciding what text will be translated and in what time. Normally, it is perhaps 10 days. No? And in this exception, if it is 36 hours, it was only an interest record. But they are doing it for themselves, not for clients.
Another question in the room?
Primarily to Felix, I think it's a really interesting idea, exploring, you know, the demand perhaps for common APIs that would fit into the open web platform. Do you see any priority areas, at least from the, well, if not just from the companies in Freem, but other people you've talked to, like functional priority areas for an API?
You mean technical priorities, or?
Yeah.
I see one priority also outside of Freem. Many people know about data technologies, also linked data, about linguistic linked data, about common linked data, but they don't know really how to deploy it in application. So the aspect of discovering the right data set that was mentioned in the leader presentation is also an aspect. So I see from various groups also outside Freem this need to have access to data sources without being the data expert. Also in these scenarios, in the first months of a project, we looked into a lot of existing data sources. And sometimes it's a question whether one should do the effort in converting the data source into data, linguistic linked data or linked data in general, or whether if the data is available in an API in a different format, whether we should implement then in a technology like Freem a mapping layer which allows you to access the data then in a uniform way, to hide the various formats, may it be CSV, XML, RDF and so on. The advantage of that, when from the data provider or consumer point of view both, is that the consumer, when he consumes it, doesn't have to do its own linked data copy, but it gets what the data provider provides, always in the latest, potentially proprietary form. So that was, I think, one area where I see a lot of interest.
Hi. I just, Felix forwarded you the question, actually a couple of notes from our client who said that basically the comment was that I tried Ocelot and it didn't work for me because I'm mainly looking to be the cat tool. And it's obviously the same problem with this Translate 5 when it's used for a lot of fancy tasks such as post-editing, annotating. But real life people in the field, they're looking for a cat tool replacement with features, right? So do you have any plans to address that? And if yes, how exactly?
So our plans are like So in a sense, we say we leave it to VistaTech to be successful with Ocelot or not. Of course, we wish them that we are successful with Ocelot, but what we in Freem provide, say we as the technology providers, so language and data technology providers, we want to provide the interfaces to these technologies. And when Ocelot is just one user of these interfaces, we won't provide a different CAD tool, but we want to make it easier for other CAD tool developers to use these interfaces. So, for example, Jan mentioned in his presentation that in the multilingual app toolkit, 3 translation systems were integrated. We want to make that process easier so that people don't have to deal with the details of these empty APIs. And of course, it's a process. I mean, in the project currently focused just on one provider. Tilde is the partner and they provide their API. But that was one reason why I mentioned this idea of discussing potential standardization, because we want to deploy as many, want to make it easy to deploy as many APIs as possible without this integration work. So it's not, to answer in summary, it's not one CAD tool. It's so to say, make it easy to create CAD tool plus very flexibly without the integration need.
You said that basically this amounts to the statement that somebody else got to write the CAD tool, right?
Well, no, Phil is not here. Like Phil, VistaTech is the owner of the editor, right? And I think it probably should be taken on with VistaTech. What is the general CAD tool usability of Ocelot? But what Felix is covering is basically the link data capability of any editor, not just Ocelot.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe let me add one point. VistaTech especially mentioned that this linked data capability in combination with other capabilities, that's really something where they see interest in localization, so that you can combine linked data with machine translation, like what's also being done with Falcon project, for example. But really seeing when with selected data sets, concrete client scenarios, where is it useful to make certain data sets multilingual and on the fly available?
I think we will need to take other Ocelot discussions offline. We are about 1 minute over time, but I guess we can take just one very short to the point question if there is one, or otherwise adjourn. So if there is no other question, let's have coffee break.